being said, Tyler, would you come up here, please?
Sure, Mrs. B.
Miss, not married yet.
Oh, you will.
Okay, guys, this is Tyler.
Hi, Tyler. Hi.
This is Tyler's future. Tyler wrote an essay for you, and you all gave him feedback. Or rather, there were 3 kinds of feedback. So what I would like from you guys is to identify the correct feedback. So I'm going to have Tyler read you the 3 different feedbacks, and then I just want you each to guess which one is the correct one.
Great job, Tyler. This was an excellent short story. Maybe add clearer transitions next time. Tyler, please be clear about who is in the story was narrating. It was confusing. Ouch. Tyler, using 2 perspectives from 2 different characters was very creative. However, after the 2nd paragraph, I was a little unclear which character was speaking.
Thank you, Tyler.
Problem.
In each of these envelopes is a key. If you choose the right key, you will be able to unlock a future of opportunities for Tyler.
My future.
So, if you thought, Tyler, please be clearer about who in the story was narrating, it was confusing, was the best choice, please raise your hand.
That wasn't the right choice.
What about, great job, Tyler, that was an excellent short story, maybe add clearer transitions next time. Tyler, using 2 perspectives from 2 different characters was very creative. However, after the 2nd paragraph, I was a little unclear which character was speaking. Oh, so I don't want to choose favorites, so I'm going to go with number 13 on their paper.
Where do we see that?
Oh, it's in the top corner of your paper. There's a number.
Oh.
Anybody 13? Going once? Twice? No. What about number 20? No. 15? Come on up.
Oh, look at price is right.
So you say this one? Please open the envelope and find your key.
My future.
Do you want to unlock your own future?
You're the teacher. Unlock. Unlock is
Unlock.
secret. Okay.
Okay.
Look, it opened.
Oh, look, another lottery ticket.
That's hers. Oh, alright, thanks for playing. Thanks. Okay, so we ended up choosing that particular feedback. Now, why didn't the other 2 work? So, what feedback shouldn't be is judgmental. No good, this is terrible. Full of praise, students tend to focus only on praise. So when you say things like, great job, Tyler, maybe just put in clearer transitions next time. Great job, he stops there, everything else just gets ignored. And the other half of that is advice. Don't tell your students what to do. It should be not advice structured. Don't focus on minor details, save those for editing sessions. Sometimes you just have to focus on what the task was asking as opposed to the tiny grammatical errors as we discussed in the last presentation. So what do you guys think feedback should be? What should feedback sound like? What should it consist of?
Oh, I was just gonna ask, can you clarify that given after the fact part? I wasn't
Oh,
sure.
given after the fact, sure. It's better to have feedback be ongoing as opposed to having a student write an essay, giving them a grade, and then providing the feedback with the grade. Because then they can't really revise it. They have to wait until the next opportunity to do it. So why not give them the feedback and then have them revise it? So what should feedback be?
Feedback should be focused.
Right.
Specific from the text.
Exactly.
That's what that one had.
Mhm. Right. Anybody else?
Ongoing.
Ongoing, that's correct. Anybody? Okay. So feedback should be inseparable from the bigger picture. Feedback should, as you said, be relevant to what we're writing about. Carefully worded. Remember, what you say to your students, they feel it on themselves, you know? You imply that the paper wasn't good, they might not feel good about themselves. You keep telling them, great job, maybe one time you don't, they'll feel like, wow, I didn't do a great job this time. It should be adjusted to each of your students' needs, draw attention to what they did successfully, most important, not necessarily praise, but what they did right. It should be meaningful, neutral, not good or bad, have purpose, be consistent, specific, and of course, ongoing. So, remember Abdallah from Amy's presentation? One of the several contributing factors to the efficacy of his lessons in English was that assessment was authentic, ongoing, and permeated all parts of the lesson. Instruction was immediately modified in response to observations. So the teacher kept modifying what she was teaching him based on the progress he was making. Their feedback was changing because of this. Okay, so in the text, they describe the negative feedback loop to a thermostat. For some reason, I couldn't help thinking of Domino's pizza website. Has anybody used Domino's pizza website? Okay, so here's how it goes. You place the order, and then it tells you what's going on with your pizza. Prepping, baking, in the box, delivery. So your desired state is delivery because you want pizza in your belly now. But really what's actually happening is it's still baking. So I want you to pretend that Chris the pizza guy cannot bake his pizza without your feedback. So here's your goal, and here's where Chris actually is. Your feedback is gonna get him there. So actual state, desired state. So you gotta set goals for your learners so that you can get them to where they need to be. Make sense? Okay. So I bet you're asking me, how do I do this, Maria? How do I give this great feedback? How do I construct it so that my learners meet their learning targets? Step one, you need to create a safe environment, a place where there are no mistakes, no judgments. Well, there are mistakes, but mistakes are okay to make. And you need to establish this, and it's not an easy thing to do. You have to establish your students' trust. I like to talk about a time when I made a mistake and looked like a fool, and then corrected my error to make them feel more comfortable. I think that's a good way to start it off, because teachers aren't perfect. So, after you've established your safe space, you need to listen. Listen to everything that they're saying and writing. Consider it carefully. Maybe if it is writing, read it once before you read it twice to change any grammatical errors and whatnot. Listen to what they're saying. What is the overall message? Step 3, when you are giving feedback, begin with strengths. You don't want to poop on their party right away. You want to start with the good things, not praise, but what they did correctly. Once you've established the strengths and got them in a feel-good spot, put in your questions and concerns. What didn't quite make sense? What didn't work for you? What could have been done better? Not advice, just your questions and concerns. And finally, once you've established all that, you're going to provide the next steps for attaining their set learning target. Remember, from the actual state to the desired state. How are we going to get there together? That being said, let's talk about Family Guy.
improvement and then end with something good. Whatever you gotta do. Okay, let's see, something good, something good, something good. You look like Snoopy and it makes me smile. But you need improvement. You have smelly dog farts. Something good, something good. Oh, you really dazzled that rep from the Cincinnati office last week. That is sensational. You really made me feel confident about those numbers. Listen, if you're ever looking for a change of scenery, we could sure use a veteran like you in Cincinnati. That was you in disguise. No, it wasn't. Yes, it was. No, it wasn't fine. It wasn't. Ah, it was.
Can anybody tell me what Stewie obviously did wrong? Oh, don't make me cold call. Come on, somebody. Number 3. No. 4. 30. Oh, there you are.
Stewie.
What did he do wrong?
He gave him too much praise in the beginning and not any direction of where to go.
Right. And he told him he had smelly dog farts.
Yeah, that wasn't too nice.
No, not at all. Now, can anyone tell me what Stewie did right? Did anybody catch that? Praise? Well, he started it off by saying that he was going to begin with something good, which is correct. He began with his strengths. And then he said he was going to tell him what he was doing wrong, which is kind of, on the same line as questions and concerns. So his overall outline was good, I guess, but his delivery a little poor, yeah? Okay, so. So, a good example of effective feedback was this. Sandy was assigned to write a personal narrative about who inspires her most in life. Lizzie, can you please read me the effective feedback?
Sure. Sandy, the details you provided likening your mother to a superhero, as she is a single parent and a successful businesswoman, clearly illustrate why she is the source of your inspiration. I noted that you mentioned Rose from Titanic was a brave woman. Your mother seems like a brave woman. What was one instance in particular which she was very brave? How could this be compared to Rose's bravery?
So, can you identify the strengths?
Well, she talks about in the beginning that she includes the details and she likes how she relates it back to her parent.
Right. Do you detect any praise in there?
Not really.
Yeah. Christina.
She sort of deterred away from her opinion and said, instead of saying I like the way you mentioned, she said I noted that you mentioned, so she's leaving it, she's not, inputting her opinion into the
Beautiful thing. Where are the questions and concerns? The end?
At the end.
Yes. Can you read it to me?
What was one instance in particular which she was very brave? How could this be compared to Rose's bravery?
Right. So not only is it a question of concern, but it is also the next step for their revision. So I want you to remember something. Not everyone accepts feedback the same way. You're going to need to find different strategies of delivering it. Sometimes you'll have the same strategy that works for one student, and then one day he or she will have an off day and it won't work and you'll need to figure something else out. So not everyone accepts feedback the same way. And I'm going to show you an example of that. Hello?
Oh, hi, Wendy. Come on in.
Shut the door.
Sure.
Uh-oh. Closed door meeting.
No, nothing like that. Come on in. Have a seat. So, Wendy, it's been 2 weeks now since we made you executive sales consultant. One little thing. Calm down. I can't calm down. Everything's falling apart. Were they bad? Were they bad typos? Think about what I said before. What? Before that? Before that? No, back it up. Remember, I think you're doing a great job. Absolutely. Except that your last couple nibbles have you typos. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. I can see it in your eyes. Look at your eyes. You're gonna fire me. I am not going to fire you. That's your eyes. Your eyes. Stop it. Wait. Stop crying. Stop crying.
So you're gonna have instances like that, and you need to be ready for them. You need to come equipped with a goodie bag of ways to deliver feedback, because not everyone accepts it the same way. He did start with her strengths, and then he posed his question and concern, and it didn't work out that way. So you just need to be ready to adapt. Okay, so Maria, what you're saying is feedback should be, Christine?
Impactful. You want me to read all of them? Or
As many as you like.
Oh, ongoing, transparent.
Very good. Tristan?
Transparent, clear, tangible, neutral, differentiated, timely.
Amy?
Meaningful, detailed, trustworthy, consistent, specific.
Beautiful. Keeping in mind everything you learned today, I want you to take a look at your papers now. Your classmate Sandra, who is, well, you're all 10th grade intermediate ESL students. Sandra is your classmate, and she's going to read you her paper. Sandra?
Sure. This story is about my boyfriend. His mom left to France and she left him in Dominican Republic since he was 8 years old. His life was hard. He left school and he started working when he was just 8, or he just was 8. Since then, he was heartbroken. He left school and he was only in 7th grade. He started fighting with his family because he was a bad little boy. I called him for the first time. I just loved his smile. It was one of my favorite days. Since that day, he became my boyfriend, but since that day, he was fighting a lot. His friend said to him that I had a boyfriend, and that was a big injustice. I felt so sad since that day. He almost didn't believe in me because he thought that what his friends said was true, but it was not true. So that day I went to my house. That he called me and said, "I'm sorry, but it was so unfair."
Very good. So the task is at the top of your page, so you can understand what the goal was here. And then on the back of your page, you will find a checklist for yourself to give appropriate feedback, and then a space for you to write your own feedback. So I want you to take a few minutes and write down some feedback for Sandra. I'm going to give you 3 minutes. share your feedback for a chance to win a prize, raise your hand. Come on up. Come on up. Two more. Come on, guys. Yes, come on up. One more. Come on up here. Come on. Come on. Yeah, okay. We have 3 contestants here today.
It'll work if the contest.
Oh. You're gonna vote on the best feedback for Sandra. So please go first.
Okay. Sandra, your writing flowed well and was organized for the most part. I noticed that you made a few spelling errors that would distract the reader from your story. Is there anything I can do to help you with this in the future?
Okay. The description you gave of your boyfriend was very detailed. Thank you for sharing this part of your personal life with me. Why do you think your boyfriend was upset? What did you talk about on the phone?
Very nice. Lastly.
You listed many details about a difficult situation and included thoughts from his own perspective, like he was heartbroken. This makes your writing seem authentic and brings it to life. You mentioned fighting. Was there a reason for this? I noticed that there are many events that occurred. This can be retold by using transition words like first, then.
Great. So if you liked feedback number 1, raise your hand. Solid. If you liked feedback number 2, raise your hand. If you liked the last set of feedback, raise your hand. Ooh. Congratulations, you won a prize. Well, that about wraps it up for today. Thank you all for playing.